Hi guys, my name is Meads. This is going to be a review as well as storytelling for this particular unique spinner. And here we go. This is really nice. You see a Stormtrooper here, particular the helmet design, and got that really intricate details. Same on the other side. There's 4 designs, 2 on each side, and yeah, they are quite amazing. Now this particular bar spinner, it's actually quite interesting how I got into it. And first off, this is made by Thomas Vesigod Euler, and I do apologize if I mispronounce your name, but he goes by TVJ in the Facebook community. He lives in Denmark, and his passion is making knives. He hand makes them, and he just got recently into the the spinner scene and start creating this awesome bar spinners. Actually, he has different shapes, and particularly the thing that's quite unique with him is, yeah, he hand makes them and just shapes it by hand, and it's not uniform in shape. Yeah, but these edges are rounded, or I guess the proper term is chamfered. And for the most part, I don't feel any hot spots. I mean, it just depends on people's, I guess, your tolerance with hot spot. I mean, there are corners here, but for me, it's fine. I mean, looking at it, no problem there. Push, pull, yep. But yeah, really cool design. Now, I've chatted with him for quite some time, and he mentioned that he did some etchings on this one. Yep, or acid etching, which is a quite unique technique. Yep, really cool. I mean, you can feel the design. Yep. Yeah, I'm kind of curious how he does this. And also, this is one of those unique spinners because it's kind of like a one-of-a-kind. And he also does commission work. If you want a particular design made into, or etch on a spinner, he can do that for you. He works with brass, copper, as well as stainless steel, but it really depends if he has the material on hand. Yeah, but I believe he has quite a bit of brass, and lately stainless steel. Yeah, just a really nice piece. I mean, it spins well, and when the light shines on it, really cool. I've actually done a couple of warp videos on this. I'll provide one, the one I posted on Instagram. But yeah, really nice. And he also talked about the balancing of this. It's quite tricky. Now, let me do that again. As you can see, there is not much of a wobble. There's a little bit. I can feel the feedback on it, but it's one of those that is very soothing, and it's quite nice. I like a little bit of feedback on the spinner. It's not like wobbling really bad as I've experienced with other spinners that are not as good or wasn't made properly. So this is quite nice. But usually the test with balancing spinners is you kind of hold it vertically and you're gonna just let it go. So this one, it's slightly off in that arm right there, but it's not too bad as I've demonstrated. But yeah, actually I want to share another story in regards to balancing. So I got this secondhand. It's I think called a Celtic spinner by Mods. It's one of those unique ones because yeah, you got that shape, and this is hot spots everywhere. It's one of those, you go for the art or the design, not so much for fidgeability or bringing this like an everyday carry, because yeah, just spinning on that corner there, it is sharp. So you gotta be careful where you spin it. Probably for me, I kind of grab onto the face or the flats. There we go. Now I got this secondhand. I think I got about 30-40% off from the retail. And the first owner of this didn't really like it because of how bad the wobble is. And I've actually balanced this myself. I just want to give it a try, you know, knowing that it wobbles when I got it. Because right now, it's not wobbling at all. And what I end up doing is, you see that section right there? I ended up sanding the inside part. And which was a bad idea. I think the best way to balance this kind of spinner is just sand the flats right here on both ends, and you gotta wait till it's balanced out. Now this one seems to be balanced. Yeah, so it's holding the spot, it's not moving. Then again, it's actually held by magnets. Also, it's using a different kind of bearing, so I'm not sure if it's just the bearing just holding, you know, through friction. But before, it will just drop one arm, and it drops really quick, so it's just really heavy. But now it spins fine, and yeah, it works out quite well. Now when I tried balancing this by sanding the side, it took a while because you do a lot of back and forth. Sand it, then you kind of try the spin well, then you just go back and forth. It's not an easy thing to do. Now imagining doing on here probably the same way, where you start sanding one end, just trying to get it balanced until you get the very acceptable wobble or feedback. And this is great for me. This is quite nice, and I just want to share that particular tidbit on that. The next part is getting this. Now on TVJ's group, sometimes they do raffles if you want to get this cheap, because this particular spinners are not they're relatively expensive, but not too expensive, if that makes sense. Now again, it is handmade, so we have to take that on account. But it's actually listed on the group how much they are. What's this price listing goes. Typically his bar spinners are about $100 to $125, I believe. And depending on how you want it etched or heat treated, he adds a little bit more. And I think this one, since you got that custom engraving here and there, I would say this is probably about $150. Let's go with that price point, $150. Now this was raffled off, and at that time, everybody signed up, and I got one spot. Unfortunately for me, I didn't win. So this was sent to its first owner, and after a while, I kind of want one. I wish I won this one. And there was other design that TVJ created. There was one that he engraved a dragon, a really cool looking dragon. There was one with Deadpool, and I think he did one for Wolverine. There's also, what was the other ones? The koi fish was actually really good also. And there's one that's like a fingerprint. One of them that's really cool, he did with a stainless steel bar spinner, is the Synapse Fire. Because of the button he created for that, the way he treated that, and with the etching, it's just really awesome. And he has a lot of other designs as well. There's skulls that he likes, and actually his logo is a skull without the jaw. Yeah, those are really cool, and he makes buttons for that as well. So yeah, just a lot of other varieties. Now, so I did win this, and just going through the Facebook groups, and there was a marketplace, I saw this listed. So the guy was, I think he was trying to get more money to buy other expensive spinners. He listed this for $200. And like, oh, I wanted it, but not for $200. That's a little too much. Again, spinners like this in TVJs is about $125, I believe, to $150. And I gave it an offer, actually. I contacted a guy through private message and offered, hey, I'll buy the spinner for $130. And I said, well, at first, he just kind of said okay, but it's too low, right? So I mean, I told him, the offer still stands if it doesn't sell. And it didn't work out for him. There wasn't really much of a interest at that time, and actually that's the time where actually the spinner scene or the community started going down in terms of people who are in it for the fad, and only the people who stayed are the ones that are just the spinner enthusiasts. So there wasn't really a bite on this particular spinner. Now, it got raffled off as well, and I'm the only guy who put in who purchased some spots. It didn't work out for that spot or that idea as well, and I actually increased my offer a little bit more, telling him, yeah, I'll buy it. I mean, nobody wants to get it, and well, he doesn't need the money for, I think it was his birthday that weekend too. So regardless, we concluded to a deal, and I paid a little bit more, and he sent this to me, which is great. Now, upon arrival, I started spinning it, and the first thing that was concerning is it didn't spin that well, and it started, a really bad sound on the bearing. Turns out the bearing was shot in a way that it's rusted out. It's like, that is weird. And so we take a look here. So this is an R188, and usually one side is always stuck. I think it's just the way the buttons are. I normally just gotta push it out. So there we go. It is glued. Actually, it is a glued bearing right there. But you can just use a Loctite. I used the blue Loctite, and it works. And it was rusted out. Now this is a new bearing, and and I talked to him about it. Like, did you know that the bearing that you have was bad? And he was oblivious about it. Yeah, it was rusted out, and he was wondering how come it didn't spin for more. Yeah. Well, that was the reason. It's rusted out. Now, luckily for me, I actually bought a bearing removal tool. I've seen people make their own, but I figured, might as well have one that was designed for it. So I use this one. It's a bearing removal tool. I'll provide the link down below if you're looking to get some. It's a very simple concept. This first one here, the big one, is for a 608 bearing. This one is for an R188. So you just put your bearing here, press the red here using this wing nut, and pop out the old bearing and put in the new one. Now, if you're using Loctite, it takes a while for it to dry, and typically the absence of oxygen is what triggers it. So if it's exposed in the air, it's still in that liquid form. Yeah. And I think in the bottle, or I think online, it says that curing time could take a full day, 24 hours. So I just put it on there, put the spinner aside, and the next day it's there, quite nicely. Now I'm using is Stealth's super bearings. I really like it, and it's, I think, the hybrid bearings with a stainless steel cage, and that works quite well. And it does offer quite a bit of a spin time, as I've used that with other spinners that I have. So that was the problem. The bearing rusted out. But luckily for me, I have tools to replace it, and even with a bearing that I really like, I could even put a one-drop bearing here to make it really smooth. But as much as people hyped up one-drop bearing, it's not for me. I prefer a little bit of feedback, and this is just great for whatever I get from the hybrid bearings. So yeah, so I just want to share that interesting story acquiring this one. And it's one of those I consider it as a metal art. This is nicely done. I like it. It's a very unique piece. It functions well as a fidget spinner. I like it a lot. And for comparison, for those of other spinners, here's a stubby right here. Yeah, and it's definitely quite big. And actually, it's as long as the Valkyrie. A little bit, so it's a little over 2 inches. And I actually have this other spinner here called the Pop Top by MPF Designs. It's a hefty spinner. I got that bead blasted stainless steel finish. And I recently got the Quasar right here, the Quasar 514 by Fidget HQ. So this particular Lang, and actually I've come across that if you hold your hand like this, So if it goes over 3 fingers, that's kind of like, you know, it's a big spinner. Because, I mean, I still have clearance when I do this. It's not too bad. You know, even this particular one here, I mean, it's like 3.5 of the digits in my fingers. But still have clearance. It's still fine. But spinners that are like this, that just are in the 3 fingers length, I think those are just the right size. I mean, this is like, yeah, your typical size. Now we got the smaller ones like this one here. I mean, this is still 3 inches. And this one is actually, I kind of consider it a little small. Then you have your mini tank here. I painted this one, that's why it looks different. This one is about 2.5 fingers. And this is kind of small. I consider this like small ones. So there we go. And actually, let me try. I have another. I got more Spinatic spinners here. And just for comparison, there we go. So for Spinatic, it's about 3 fingers in length. For the most part. And I consider that as a mid-range size. But for this little guys here, the mini Y, this is about 2 fingers. And this is the small this is a small spinner. Yeah, and I think that's the best way to gauge how big the spinner is for you. Does it go over 4 fingers? 3? 2? And I think the good size is if it goes on your 3 fingers. And I think I've kind of stretched this particular spinner review. But there you go. I just want to share that. Hope you like that. And if you got questions in regards with spinners in general, you know, I've been on it for over 2 months now, or close to 2 months, and I've learned a lot, and I've really enjoyed the hobby. It is something you know, different. It's a good break for me for figure collecting, and you know, I appreciate those who were patient with me with me getting to the spinner scene. I know I still get a lot of dislikes on my spinner reviews, and I kind of feel bad because what if the maker saw that review and he saw a lot of dislikes? You know, it doesn't really reflect the particular spinner. It could be just that a lot of my viewers didn't like me making spinner reviews. So it is what it is, but I still want to get this out there. And for those who might find this, you know, informative or just want to check out something different. Anyways, that's about it for this particular review and storytelling. Hope you guys like it. If you got questions, let me know. So until then, this is Meads. Thanks for watching.